Hey, how you doing? Today we're going to upgrade the rear lighting setup on my Raptor, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Before we get started, let me show you all the parts we're going to be using today. These are some Baja Designs S2 Sports that I picked up from Apollo Optics, and then we also have a custom wiring harness that I got through Off-Road Alliance that will let us use the lights not only in the reverse function, but also wire it up to a upfitter switch so I have independent control of those rear lights. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at what comes in the box here. As you see, we have these two light pods here that are from Baja Designs, the S2s. They also make an S2 Pro, which is more of a spot pattern and also puts out more lumens, but I didn't really want to have like an overload of light on the rear of the truck, especially when I'm putting the truck in reverse, just kind of like driving in town. Let's take a closer look at the wiring harness we're going to be using here. As you see, there's these two connectors that are going to be at the back of the truck that are actually going to connect to these light pods. Then you also have your connection in ground for your reverse function. And then this big part here is what's going to run up the passenger side frame rail and connect to our upfitter switch. So the first thing we're going to do is actually mount the pods with the provided hardware and mounting brackets and get them in place, and then we will do the wiring on the second half of the install. So this is the area we're going to be mounting the lights. We're actually going to remove this T40 Torx screw and put the mounting bracket here. The procedure is the same on both sides of the truck. You're going to find that the kit has a spacer and then a bracket, and the order is going to be that you put the spacer first, then bracket, and use that same screw that you removed, that T40 Torx, and just thread it through, sandwich it like this, and then you're going to just fit it all back into here. That looks pretty good. All right, so the next step is you're going to take your light pod here, and you're actually going to just kind of thread the harness back here near the actual hitch mount area. And this is going to hold it right here really close to the bumper and put it in a nice little position. What you need to do is take the mounting hardware, and what you're going to do is you're going to put the lock washer here. You're going to tuck it in and then add a bolt on both sides. So let me go ahead and do this, and then I'll show you a little bit of a closer look. All right, at this point, this is how things should look on both sides of the truck. And that is what they look like together. Now it's time to wire them up. All right, next step to the puzzle is remove the driver's side tail light. There we go. They can be a little stubborn. There we go. Gosh, we're a lot stubborn. And then go ahead and just disconnect it all together. All right, I'm gonna do my best to show you what we got going on here, but you're gonna take the wiring harness and you're gonna run it and tuck it up near the bumper mount, up above it, and then you're gonna run it over to the driver's side rear tail light assembly. Then we are gonna make our splice and ground connections. Now that you have the wiring harness routed to the rear taillight area, what you're going to do is you're going to find the green and brown wire here on the actual harness itself, and you're going to use your splice connector to make your connection there. Once you've made your connection to the harness, this is what it all should look like, and then go ahead and install your taillight again. Now it's time to make our ground connection, and what you'll find is that there's a factory ground here at the end of the frame rail right behind the bumper mount, and what we're gonna do is literally just bolt it on there. All right, now our ground connection is made, and it's time to test the lights. All right, now's probably a good time to go ahead and test it out, make sure it all works when you throw it into reverse before we work on the upfitter switch. So go ahead and throw it in reverse. Boom. All right, let's go ahead and wire up the upfitter switch. As you can see there, the harness is actually hanging from the bottom of the truck, and this is that custom harness from Off-Road Alliance. And then you'll notice here, I have this super long connection here that's gonna run along the passenger side frame rail. I'm gonna go ahead and run that and get it up to the engine bay, and then we'll make our connection up there. So I went ahead and routed the harness up the passenger side frame rail, and what I found is that the harness is actually much longer than you need, which is always a good thing, so you have some extra. And what I did is I kind of bound it all together here and zip tied it in a nice bundle in connection with this OEM wiring loom here, so it's all nice and tidy, tucked behind the rear bumper. So the harness is run up the passenger side of the frame rail. Just find some places to, zip tie it down where it seems logical. I took the harness and ran it around the body mount and up into the engine bay over the passenger side fender well. All right, so there are my upfitter connections that were wired from the factory, and here's my connector now. You'll notice that this has a weather connector on it. I'm actually going to snip that off so that we can wire it to the upfitter switches. I have quite a bit extra, so I'm also going to trim it down just so that it's a nice and tidy setup. All right, you see here I have all the OEM upfitter wires that are run through the firewall, and I want to run and connect mine to aux switch 6, and on my truck it's going to be this yellow and orange wire. All right, so I cut the harness to fit and then made my connection here. You don't need to use the ground wire on the harness because you're already grounded on the back of the truck, so there's really no reason to do it twice. And then I gave myself just a little bit of extra harness up here just in case I want to make a wiring revision in the future. But my connection is all set, and now it's time to test it out. All right, moment of truth. Nailed it. So with aux 6 turned on, you can see that we have the S2 lights turned on and also the reverse lights. So this is going to give me a whole lot of extra lighting, especially at night when I'm maybe setting up a campsite or something like that. Before we end the video, I wanted to be able to give you guys a look at what it looks like at night and how much light they're putting out. And as you can see, it's quite a bit. I mean, it's a lot more than the factory lights. Here's a look at it with the bed lights on and also the mirror lights, and you can see we've got a bunch of lighting. So we got a lot of extra light on the back of the truck, and I'm excited to kind of just see how they work out when I'm camping and things like that, but also I could see how it could be useful in town, both for safety and convenience. I mean, if you're backing up and those lights turn on, people are definitely going to see you. I don't think it's overpowering where it's going to be just like a nuisance to everybody around you, but I think it's definitely going to let people know that you're there, probably prevent some nighttime fender benders and stuff like that. The kit itself, super easy to install, and it all fits really well. And it's all high quality stuff, which you could expect from Baja Designs. I'll leave links in the description below of where I bought them and the kit itself, and we'll go from there. I got a lot of other updates and mods coming for the Raptor, so stick around. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.